again here with our special Sintergetica therapist, Yolanda. Yolanda, many thanks for being here with us. Many thanks for sharing your stories, your knowledge, your wisdom, and all this about Hands for Healing online training and Sintergetica. That already I need to let you know something very special that is happening here is that people that just completed the Hands for Healing online training, they are already asking for the next level. And next level is Sintergetica per se. So it's just, so you know a little bit about the story. You told us last time that we talked to you about the story of how Hands for Healing was born in the Sintergetica group, no? So everybody's using different tools, and suddenly they say, well, the best tools, we have it in our hands, no? Something like that. Could you share a bit of that story? And welcome. Thank you.
Many thanks, Mighty. I'm very pleased to be here again and to help and support all what you're doing in Australia. I think you're very brave, so I really congratulate you. And yes, indeed, Hands of Healings is a daughter. I said that Hands of Healings is a daughter of Sintergetics, because it's a proposal that made Jorge Carvajal that how can everybody, is a sort of a Sintergetics for everybody, because the main tool, as you said, is in our hands. So if we have this marvelous tool to heal, which are our hands, well, why not share with people techniques that are useful for first of all, for themselves, is self-healing. First of all, the idea was to help them with the self-healing. And of course, once you know and you have felt it, then you can share it with people around you, your family, and if you are a therapeutic, and then you can share and it's as a complementary tool. If you already have a practice, if you already have a practice of whatever, Hands for Healing helps, complements. It's not or, it's a plus. And this is one of the best things about Hands for Healing, that it's open and is very, very easy to learn these techniques, and is really very effective.
Wow. So you say it because you since you studied, you've been practicing with it, you incorporated it in your own health practice. So you told us the other day you were studying homeopathy, naturopath, like many kind of different systems, medical systems, Chinese medicine, and then acupuncture. And then when you learn this, you incorporate it as a synthesis, right? It's like an integration, it was the key word.
Exactly. This is the key word is integration. Because my first studies were osteopathy. And then this 3 years here in Spain, and I did the 4th year of craniosacral osteopathy. But then I felt that I needed something else. I needed something, it wasn't enough. I felt that there was something missing in that techniques that, of course, they are marvelous, but then you have to see the person in a very frequent basis, because they need to be looked after a weekly or even fortnightly basis, because then the pain or the discomfort reappeared. So I thought there must be something else. Then in the search for what else, I did the naturopathy, 3 years of naturopathy. In naturopathy, we have a core of Chinese traditional medicine. And we have also acupuncture, we have also moxibustion, and well, all the techniques that are related with the Chinese traditional medicine. We also had homeopathy, and we also have all a series of techniques that I tried them all. Reflexology, portal reflexology, metamorphic massage.
Wow.
Yes, and each course, because it was over 3 years, so they gave us 6 months of each of these different techniques, so that we had a range. We had also nutrition as well. And I practiced in myself all of them, because I needed to know, well, how it felt. And one of the things I liked most was homeopathy. So I decided to do a course of homeopathy. And then I did 1 year in the homeopathy, but I didn't quite like it, because it was like an illness and medicine. No, I felt there must be something else. So I did Unisys homeopathy. And then I also like very much acupuncture and all the things related to the meridians, like digitopuncture. I did a course of that. Not only the needles, but the moxibustion as well.
Yes.
Because Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, gave me a map, a marvelous map of meridians. And once you know the roads to follow, then you can follow in different ways. So I was very happy with that. So I started to integrate that what I know with osteopathy. And then with homeopathy, of course, and with reflexology, of course. I had one of my favorite patients was a very old. Also I did I forgot the name. When you are very swollen, it's a massage to drainage.
Drainage.
Lymph drainage massage.
Lymphatic.
And then I had a lady that she was 83 years old. No, 83, no, 93 years old. Okay, and she was in bed, she didn't walk, she had the legs very swollen, okay? But since she was 93, the skin was so thin, very, very thin. I even didn't dare to touch her directly. So with her, and I was asked to look after her, to do the drainage, the lymphatic massage, lymphatic massage. But then I said, wow, if I touch here, probably the skin will break into pieces. So I did with her reflexology, okay? And it was amazing. And then instinctively, I follow in the feet, I follow the meridians. I didn't touch one liver without thinking in the liver meridian. So within the feed, I follow the map that the meridians proposed. And I found out that it was even more effective. Then I said, oh God, if they have by the relation between meridians, yin and yang. So I decided to treat her with this polarity. So if I massage very gently the long area, then I went to the intensive, the big intestine area. Okay.
Yeah.
So sorry?
The organs yin and yang, so the lungs.
Exactly. Exactly. I started to follow. It was a sort of a mix of portal reflexology with meridians and traditional medicine, Chinese traditional medicine. So I did this instinctively. Since I discovered that it was very useful and the effects were incredible, she started to walk and she was recovering. She was 93, okay? And she was in bed. And she had all sort of problems with the stomach, okay? And it was, I have an anecdote very interesting with her, because one day I was following this traditional medicine, the yin and yang organs. So when I got to the stomach, I was doing the stomach, and then she said, all of the sudden, she has been almost relaxed without talking at all. And then when I go to the stomach, she said, oh, Yolanda, I must confess you something. I had egg for breakfast. She said that because she wasn't allowed to have eggs at all, but she loved eggs. Yeah, so she had eggs, but it was very interesting because it was in the moment when I was touching the stomach area.
So you start synchronizing everything that you do and what happens.
Exactly. So I realized that everything is connected. So I started myself doing everything I have practicing to do it with my patients. And to make sure the long story, she died of 98 years. I was with her 5 years. And one day, the daughter called me, Yolanda, you must talk to my mother because she doesn't want to use the stick to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we then became very, very close. And I told her, well, now we have to celebrate the 100-year anniversary. And then she said, when she was 98, the day of her 98th birthday, she told me, Yolanda, this is it. I'm fed up. I'm leaving. And I said, well, how are you living if you are perfect? If you are doing fine? Because I'm alone and everybody is waiting for me. My husband, my friends, my family, they come to visit me. They are waiting for me. And I'm not doing anything here. So I must go. That was the 3rd of March. And she died the 15th of May. She said, this is it, and this was that. But this is to tell you that even before I started studying Sintergetics, I was mixing, integrating all the techniques that I have already learned, that I have already studied, that I needed to, that I have already felt in myself. And then I made this mixed, okay? Especially, it was very effective, the metamorphic massage. And so this is very, very, very energetic. You have to deal with the energy when you have to deal with energy with all these techniques in a different levels, in different densities, but you deal with energy in a very more condensed way, or in a very, very light way, or a very subtle way.
So you were already doing this integration yourself?
Absolutely.
So when you went to the Hands for Healing online training, you thought, yes, I'm doing this, or it was already something that you were doing and you knew, or surprised you with something new?
No, the thing is that what I discovered first was Sintergetic, because I had a patient that I saw her in a fortnightly basis, and she told me once, listen, there is Yolanda, and I practiced with her all this integration, okay? I did different kinds of massage with her. I did craniosacral osteopathy. I sent her homeopathy. I was doing with her all this intuitive integration of the techniques. And then she once told me, Yolanda, there is one doctor that does the same what you do. He mixes everything like you. Mixes everything like you. Of course, when I met him, and now that I know what I know, not at all, because I was doing this in a very intuitive way. Okay.
Kind of simple way, you try to say, like very simple, or because he did it also intuitively, no? Or what you mean?
Absolutely, intuitive. Because each of the techniques, I studied them separately. None of these techniques, when you do osteopathy, you do osteopathy. Okay, you don't do traditional medicine. So you don't relate the knee with a meridian. You don't relate it. Okay, and when you do Ayurvedic medicine, you do it on its own, and you don't relate the knee with the first center.
So that's the difference with Hands for Healing. That's the difference, that you start relating.
Exactly. This is the key proposal of Hands for Healing, that you integrate, if you are already a therapist, is a plus that helps you to integrate all what you do with a wider perspective of what you are doing. And in this way, you are very much effective, you see. And then when she told me, there is a doctor, I watched in the map where was this doctor, and it was very far away for myself. It wasn't in Madrid, central Madrid. It was in the outskirts of Madrid. I said, well, it's too far away, I won't go. But then, this is another and
Connected.
another story. I had finished naturopathy, and then I decided, okay, still I knew something was missing. I didn't know what. So I said, okay, so must be via China. So I started to study Chinese because I was going to go to China to do proper traditional Chinese medicine. But then, before going, I was thinking about it. I decided, well, before I go to China, there is something that I have always wanted to do in Spain, which is the Jacob's Way. And I had been living in Spain for more than, by then, for more than 6 years, and I never had the opportunity because every time I read about it, I said, well, it's almost 800 kilometers. And it requires at least 6 weeks. None of my friends here have the 6 weeks holiday to go, not even myself could afford to have 6 weeks without working. So as a consequence, I never had the opportunity to do it. But since I was thinking of going to China, then I said, I'm going to do Jacob's Way. If I can't do the 6 weeks, I'll do 2. If I can't do the 800 kilometers, I'll do 200 kilometers. That's it. So I went. I thought that I was walking Jacob's Way, but it was all the way around. Jacob's Way was walking me. So when I came back from Santiago, I came on a Sunday, and I had this patient of mine that has been more than 6 months telling me about this doctor that mixes everything like me. And then she asked me, well, Yolanda, what about Jacob's Way? I said, well, I'm shocked. I don't know, I'm shocked. I don't know which is really my way. The way was walk me. I don't know which way. It was a big crisis, which Jorge says this is the biggest opportunity, because then always opens in front of you. And then she said, well, Yolanda, this Friday, this doctor I told you about is in Madrid. And I said, well, I'll go. I'm in a crisis. All the ways are open. I went. And ever since, I've been there. Ever since, that was, well, how many years? 13 years, 14 years ago. So I decided, this is it. This is it, because Sintergetic gave me all the basis of this integration that I have been doing in an intuitive way. It gave me the why this is it. And why this is it? Because we are una unity. We are not bits and pieces. This is alone.
Yeah, that was something that when I was studying Sintergetica, I wasn't aware that holistic medicine comes from the word holon, and that concept of the integration of everything in as a holon, as a holistic way to be, because we are a whole thing. Like a finger is a whole thing, but the hand is a part of the hand. And the hand is a whole thing, but it's a part of the arm. And all these little parts that are a whole as us. So we are a little part, but as a whole as well, we are. So understanding that concept.
Absolutely. This was most amazing discovery for myself. This holistic approach, because then it has consequences, of course. And then it took me a while to really understand it, because it's not the sum of the pieces. No. It's not that you sum, you add finger to hand, hand to arm, arm to no, it's to the rest of the body. No, is that each piece is a whole in itself. And the example that I give to my students when I talk about this in Hands for Hands is like a mirror. If you have a whole mirror and you break it, what do you have? And the people say, well, little pieces. No, we have little mirrors, little 100% mirrors. And that makes the whole difference completely.
Amazing.
Because this is a way to look at it completely different. So you won't look a finger never again as a finger. Of course you treat the finger, but you never again see the finger on its own, not even as a part of a hand. No, the fingers, you are in the finger. Your story is in the finger. Your ancestors are in your finger. Everything is in your finger.
That's why you describe it as an integration.
Exactly. This is the key word. Key word is integration and unity. And the third key word is harmony, because this integration is not in any way, no. This integration has a rules as well.
Laws.
This is rules.
Rules, but also I remember for example, you apply the law of three, or the law of, it's also
Absolutely.
rules and laws.
Laws, yeah, indeed. But I was talking about the harmonic integration, okay? That this harmony is harmony in frequency, is harmony in space, is harmony in time, is harmony as a whole. And all this is what is called the Sintergetic approach, because you integrate not only this wholeness, but the story, the time, the space, the frequency, all that. The purpose is time, synchronous, the place, syntropos, the time, space, the purpose, syntropos, and the frequency, syntonos, syntony. And all this together is a synergetic approach of the harmonic resonance.
Sounds very profound that you can integrate everything, even space, time, frequency. Sounds kind of magic. What kind of questions do you ask when you have a patient and comes? So you don't just go to see the symptom. So
exactly. Exactly. Because if you have this approach, then of course you have to look after, if a person comes with, I have a pain in my knee and it's terrible, and first question, since when? always, okay, always is when. Because the people feel it. The most important thing is that you have to empathize with the feeling of the person. It's the right listening. You have to listen to what she feels like. I have had this pain in my knee ever since I remember. But then when you start very kindly being more concise, then ask questions like, since you got married, for instance, because you already know, you already have, are you married? No. Are you a widow? No. Since you were widow, since when? Since when is a very important question, okay? Because that gives you clues. It's like when you are
a detective. It was mentioned, Renato mentioned being a detective.
Being?
A detective. Searching for.
Yes, it's like it, yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And then, and there are questions that they are not asked in the medicine,
Traditional medicine.
In the conventional medicine. For instance, how was your birth? This is a very important question. This is a crucial question. How was your birth? Well, I almost died because I had a double cord on my neck and I was born blue, almost dead. They had to put me into the UV, and of course, 40 years after that, he's been having lung problems and is being treated because of the spring with the seeds of the springtime allergy. And it doesn't mean, this is, I have to be very clear with this, because this doesn't mean that we don't pay attention to the seeds, to the spring and the effect in the sinus. It's not that. But then if I look after as a problem that comes from that very moment, if I don't deal with that, he will have this asthma or whatever, chronic forever. This is the chronic disease that's been even as a problem, even before you are born. Because then you have questions, well, the childbirth was good, but my mother was so sad because my granddad, her dad, died the month before.
And if you ask those questions to the person when it comes to your practice, how long it could take you to go through all the story of the patient? Since
it depends. It depends. It's individual. It's completely individual. It takes a time.
That's the key, no? That also doctors sometimes, traditional medicine is not taking enough time to really.
Absolutely, they don't listen. They don't listen.
So this is another key as well, like listening and really going through the story, what happened, understanding to clean the root of the problem.
You have to connect with the patient, first of all. You have to have this harmonic resonance with the patient, because there are patients that they just don't want to talk anything. So you have to respect that as well. But it's very interesting because I had one patient that she came with a problem with her feet, She couldn't even walk with the pain and feet. And I've been here, I've been there, and they've done this, they've done that, and so on. And someone told me that osteopathy and you too. Okay. When I ask very gently, you have to be very careful with the way you ask, because this is a profound respect. Okay. And they said, well, there is something difficult in your life. Nothing. Okay, nothing. But then when she lay down in the table, yeah, I started connecting with her. So her etheric body are frequencies, and the frequencies tells you things as well. So if you get a frequency that gets into the heart, we call it this F-30, and if you find it in the heart, then you know that it's a very deep, we call it the black hole, this frequency, because it's behind of big depressions, big losses that hasn't been processed in adequate way. So when you go there, then you start receiving this information via the frequencies you are dealing with. And when you are doing that, then she said, oh, I must tell you, my sister died 6 months ago. Okay. And then she starts to open. But that was when I unblocked certain frequencies that acted as, yes, they were a barrier, okay, obstacles to the flow of the energy, and energy is information. And energies are frequencies, and frequencies are information. So I had the information via the frequencies, via her energetic field.
Very beautiful and interesting that you were able to see it even before I started studying it, but then it gave you the base and to build up and really connect everything.
Sí.
Connect with the client or with the patient, with the other human. It's not just...
Exactly. They are really, my patients are my best teachers. They teach me, each patient is a lesson. They are my best teachers. And well, it's very interesting how to deal with all sort of patients and all sort of cultures as well. Because there is a cultural difference. It's not the same. I've seen it, it's not the same. People from Colombia, from Mexico, from Spain, even within Spain, it's not the same a Catalonian than a Basque.
So in that sense, if now that we are teaching Hands for Healing in Australia, but we are a group of Latin people, maybe it could be a way for Australian people to understand the Latin culture and understand another way to approach in a more lovely way to people, because we are everywhere. So we have a little bit more that kind of connection with Latin people. And if you treat someone that is not from your same culture, it could help you to also being able to...
Absolutely, it opens your mind. It opens your mind. Absolutely. And one of the things in nowadays world is that we are traveling. And even if we are not traveling, which we are, and we have been, we are doing it right now. All what is happening now is the proof, the definite proof that we are integrated. And this separation that it comes from different spheres, comes from elsewhere, that has nothing to do with the human being. We are all humans being. And well, this is what is happening. I think that one of the crises that we are living right now is because this is being confronted. When you have 6 million Venezuelans abroad, there is no way that you won't find a Venezuelan in Australia that is making one cheese, which is amazing. I saw a video of a Venezuelan that he prepared a white cheese. What is amazing. He has established there. So Australians will start tasting this Venezuelan cheese.
In Australia.
In Australia, absolutely, absolutely.
You don't even need to travel, you are already tasting Venezuelan somehow.
Venezuelan food. Well, I don't know how many areperas are there in Australia. But there is it's no way. I'm talking about 6 million Venezuelans, but because this is the very, very next to me. But before that, the Colombians, Mexican. What is happening in the United States right now? How many Mexican? How many Latin, not only Mexicans, not only Mexicans, which was the beginning. No, how many Latin? We in the United States, we are the third culture in the United States, the so-called white, the Afro-American, and the Latin. And sometimes I have read that the Latins and Afro-Americans very close. Yeah. So it's no way. You can do whatever you want, but it's no way.
Yeah.
And Sintergetic is a magnificent way to deal in the health issue with all sort of, because at the end of the day, we are all energy, and energy are frequencies, and frequencies are information. There's no way that you can go through that. And the other key word, which is conscious. Because this is the consciousness, because this is the thread that goes through the physical body, the physical body, the energetic body, and the information and the consciousness. And Hands for Healings, since it's a daughter of Sintergetic, does exactly the same, but with your hands. It gives you the opportunity to deal with things, but with your hands. Once you know that pinky is earth, pinky is earth. If you know pinky is earth, and you know that there are certain places earth is related to root. A root has to do with entity. This is what we teach in Hands for Healing, how to connect, how to make these connections, these relations with the things that you learn. You learn earth. You learn that earth means root, that roots mean earth entity, and entity is what we are. And if you have a problem of what you are, the first thing is to deal with earth. And if you know that earth entity is related with the first center of energy, and that first center,
That energy center is also related with something else.
Exactly. Then you know, and one of the things we do in Hands for Healing is give you not only techniques on how to deal with your hands, but these maps that can help you to travel around your system as a whole. You are traveling, you are not dealing just with the knee, you are dealing with a center, you are dealing with the earth, you are dealing with first center, you are dealing with support, you are dealing, and this you are dealing, you have the technique how to deal with that lack of support, lack of being, lack of self. And this is really, really interesting.
And then you learn that doing a mudra can help you in your well-being.
Absolutely.
That could also save you medication, or maybe
absolutely
you cannot be saved, but it helped.
Not only that, the idea of Sintergetica and Hands for Healing is for the well-being. It's not against the illness. It's to promote health. And when you promote health, you are healthy. And if you do have something, then you deal with it as a whole. And you see what are all the things that are involved in that. You have to look after what you are eating, the nutrition, for instance. You have to, because it's, well, of course, I had a patient that she had a weight problem. She was almost obese and had a problem in the knee. And she comes to me to treat her knee, but she is overweight. And then she wants me to treat her knee. Of course, this was before the Sintergetic when I did osteopathy. But even then, as osteopathy, a knee with overweight, there is something that is not, there is something wrong there. And then she says, in the moment when I treated that, and I have an appointment with the surgeon of the Real Madrid Football Club's surgeon. Of course, he treats the knees of Ronaldo, of all these young people that with this stress with the football damage their knees, of course. And they have accidents in the field as well. And well, what else? I mean, it's not a way, it's not a solution just to have these prostheses, change the knee and put a prosthesis. Of course, if you need a prosthesis, you need a prosthesis. But if you don't deal with what is behind, if you don't deal what is behind this overweight, because this overweight is not only because she eats. That is very easy. No, it's much more than that. So, and what is the emptiness that she's feeling with food? This is something that is energetic. It comes from your heart. I mean, how can you feel an emptiness this size?
So you also go to decode the meaning of the symptom. What is behind? Why you need to eat more? What is not feeding you or not?
Yes, this is a two-way knife, because if you think directly, me, first center, lack of entity. Lack of entity is if you go like
Straight line?
when you have when you have a receta, a recipe, no,
Prescription or recipe.
No, when you have the ingredients to make a cake.
Okay. Yeah, the recipe.
The recipe, okay. If you go with the recipe, you are lost. You must know it. You must know it, okay? But you mustn't impose the recipe on the person, because each person is unique.
That's why you were saying this is not just to follow techniques. You also need to be aware.
Yeah. You have to have three important aspects that we teach in Hands for Healing. You have to be able to watch more than to see. Watch integrity. Not only see the need. You watch integrity. You watch a whole person, a person as a whole. Then you listen, not only hear, you listen to her. What is she saying? Know what the words she is saying, because sometimes what you are not saying is even more important, because you are saying it in a different ways. And of course, the right word, how you talk to her, how you communicate with her. And the three, right look, right listening, and right talk, all of them have a common, which is the heart. If you do it from your heart, if you see it with your heart, if you listen to her with your heart, and if you talk to her, then what you are telling and what you are not telling, because this is both ways, is very, very healthy.
So beautiful, everything that you have shared with us, Yolanda. Many, many thanks. We really thank you. And I invite you to extend the invitation for everyone to join the Hands for Healing online training as an opportunity for self-healing and also being useful to serve humanity, and healing others could be your kid, your partner, any member of the family, or even friends. So being able to do something or to see a little bit, how can I help? It is so important and so valuable, no? So extending the invitation.
First of all, your life is in your hands. Your health is in your hands. This is the key for Hands for Healing. And what do we learn to deal in this self-healing is well established through these 5 models that we go through the Hands for Healing
online training.
Online training, yeah. And it gives you the opportunity to, first of all, which is the most important for me, is the self-healing and the promotion of your own health. When you feel it, when you are aware that indeed Your health belongs to you. It's your responsibility. And how about if you learn easy techniques to deal with your health? You are very much welcome to do this Hands for Healing online technique in Australia and all over, because we are now online.
Yeah, all welcome from everywhere. In English, so you could practice your English if you're from a Latin. And well, let's close the session with we call it the Monkey Mudra, because you look like a little bit like a monkey. But it is very deep. So could you guide us and tell us a little bit about this mudra?
Well, when you are tapping, because what we are doing is tapping, tap, 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 is a tapping on a very, very thin energy. Okay, it's a biofield. Okay, so when it's like a very thin membrane that you tap on it. Okay, and this area is the thymus. And thymus is is in charge of your immune system, okay? And here you tap it and you activate the energy of your immune system and of your
self-esteem.
Yes, it's a self-recognition. It's the recognition of yourself as a being, okay? It's not only the recognition of bacteria or viruses, no. It's the self-recognition, okay? So you are doing this because we are a whole. And in this wholeness, this recognition, this entity is a key in our well-being. So we activate that. And then we do it here. If you put your hands and you put like a small, how do you say, cintillo?
The crown.
The crown, okay, you put a crown there. The place where the fingers meet, okay, this is called, the Chinese call it the place of the 100 meeting, the 100 meeting place, reunion, the reunion of the 100 meetings, and it's governor base 20. And it's called, it's also the epiphysis, okay? So you activate, let me do it that you can see it better because, okay. You activate your epiphysis and your thymus. And this gives you not only this strength of your immune system or your self-recognition, it also gives you peace. It's very useful to calm down because it also activates the nervous system, the vegetative nervous system. And once you do this and you feel this, you give thanks. This is the mudra, the praying mudra, and I call it also the thanking mudra because it's a way to thank. It's a way to thanks and to thank you all for being here and to thank Maite for the invitation. And I hope to see you soon to this incredible adventure of Hands for Healing.
Hope to see you soon. Yeah, very welcome everyone.
Exactly.
This, we insist, this is a must for you, for yourself, for your well-being, for humanity. We are sharing this also for all of us, because serving you, I'm serving myself. So many thanks. Let's give ourselves a gift.
Good.
Many thanks. Thank you, Yolanda. Wishing you all the very best, you and
The
everyone.
same to you all.
Many thanks.